Hello, and welcome to my short course on Specialist English for medical practitioners. This is going to be a short course revolving primarily around the vocabulary that is needed for medical practitioners to go ahead and do their work in English. I'm not going to teach you any medical practices. I'm only talking about how you speak about the things which you already know in your business. So this is suitable for doctors, nurses, dentists, and people who work in medical field. My name is Raymond Connors, Dr. Raymond Connors. I am an English language specialist from Australia. Although I am a doctor, I am not a doctor of medicine. I am a doctor of education management. Okay, so what I want you to do in this, we're going to look at some descriptions. We're going to listen to the pronunciation, and I would like you to try to copy it. Then listen to the explanation of what the vocabulary is about, and listen to the use of the vocabulary in a typical sentence as might be said to you by a patient. Patients, as we know, generally talk about their symptoms. They cannot talk about a diagnosis. So, let's get on with it, shall we? Let's see how the first one works. Okay, here's a word we sometimes hear, abnormal. Abnormal. It's an adjective describing something. It means not normal for the human body. For example, somebody might come to us with a huge weight loss, and we might say, this amount of weight loss is abnormal for women your age. Abnormal. Ache, A-C-H-E. It's both a noun and a verb. And an ache describes a pain that just will not go away. For example, I can't sleep because my knees ache in the night. In this case, we see a person with a back ache. We can add ache to a body part to talk about a pain that will not go away from that particular part, such as a toothache, a headache, a stomach ache, and many more. Acute, A-C-U-T-E. This is an adjective which means quick to become more severe or worse than what it really is now. For example, we knew the baby was coming right away because the woman's labour pains were acute, meaning they were quite severe and they're getting worse. So we know something needs to be done very quickly. Allergy is a noun, and its adjective is allergic. A body's abnormal reaction to certain foods or environmental substances, for example, might cause a rash, where you might say, your son is extremely allergic to peanuts. He has an allergy to peanuts. A lot of people have allergies when it comes to the springtime. They might be allergic to flowers or the pollen that comes off flowers. And they're pretty miserable. We have to give them something to relieve this discomfort. Ambulance. This is a noun. Notice it's A-M-B-U-L-A-N-C-E. Although it sounds similar to talking about patients who can walk, the ambulance. It sounds the same, but it is spelt differently. An ambulance is an emergency vehicle that rushes people to a hospital for urgent treatment. For example, we called the ambulance when Josh stopped breathing. That's a good idea. Amnesia. This is a noun. It means a condition that causes people to lose their memory. It's normally only for a short while. It's not long term. For example, I can't remember the accident because I had amnesia. That is, a short-term memory loss. Amnesia. Amputation is a noun, and to amputate is the verb. It's the permanent removal of a limb of the body. For example, an arm, a leg, a finger, a toe. You might hear it said like this: we had to amputate his leg because the infection spread so quickly. Amputation, amputate. Anemia, a noun, a condition. Anemic is the adjective. This is a condition that occurs when the body doesn't have enough red blood cells. We might say, for example, I have low energy because I'm anemic. Anemic. I have anemia. Antibiotics. This is a noun. It refers to medication. Antibiotics are medication that kills bacteria and can cure infections. We might hear it said like this: my throat infection went away after I started on antibiotics. Antibiotics. Antidepressant. It's a noun in this case. Anti means against. We might hear something like this: the antidepressants helped me get on with life after Lucy died. Antidepressants are medication that helps relieve anxiety, sadness, stress. In other words, calms the patient down after a traumatic event. Or maybe it's an imagined event. However, antidepressants are often prescribed. An appointment. That's a noun. Appointment. It's a scheduled meeting with a medical professional. You might have an appointment with your patient on 3rd of May at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Be used like this: I'll make you an appointment with a specialist in 3 weeks' time, and I'll send you the details. Arthritis. This is a noun. Excuse me. Arthritis is a disease that causes the joints to become swollen and crippled. It's quite common in older people, not so much in younger people, although of course we know it occurs. We might hear it used like this: my grandmother can't knit anymore because the arthritis in her hands is so bad. Asthma. We often use this with the word attack. It seems to attack people without too much warning. Asthma, that's a noun. It's a condition that causes a blockage of the airway and makes it difficult for the patient to breathe. We've all seen these, I'm sure. An inhaler device, a spacer, and the other parts we already know from biology. We might hear it said like this by people: I carry an inhaler when I run because I have asthma. It's a treatable situation in most cases, but it may go on for a very long time. All right, that's all for this lesson today, because we have just skimmed the surface by looking up some vocabulary, medical vocabulary, all starting with the letter A so far. And the rest of our lessons will go on in a similar fashion. Next lesson we'll check out some more vocabulary associated with the practice of medicine. The intention of this course is not to teach you anything about your profession, but to show you how to use English to describe something that you already know. Thank you. See you in the next lesson. Bye for now.